Brad Graham, the Hobart Plumbing number 19. He's having a fairly solid run here once again this afternoon.
Well, Brad Graham, another one of those guys that has lots of laps here at Delaware Speedway. The 23 scoots back by the 9, overcooked the corner just a little bit, slid up, lost the spot, and he's in danger of losing another one to the 19.
Boy, that Excite Dodge, he went all the way up the hill. He needed every piece of real estate to gather that one back up as it took a trip, but those two hard-earned positions for Mark Dilley have gone by the wayside, and those drivers really have to get on it because the 17 of DJ Kennington is coming. There's a battle for 9th spot. Don Thompson Jr. and the Farmers Feed family's number 8 will move around the 60 Mopar Dodge of Ron Beauchamp Jr.
Oh, a little bit of smoke off of somebody's car going through the corner. I didn't quite catch the number.
It looked like a red car battling just ahead of this group. It could have been the 56 of Doug Brown, just locking that left front tire. He's currently 2 laps down to the leaders, just tucking on the inside, getting some laps for Jim Bray, the car owner of that machine.
Mark Dilley in danger of going a lap down to the 17 of DJ Kennington.
Boy, Kennington is really putting it to this field. He's putting in some very, very quick laps, and the 22 of Scott Steckley is right there as well.
Down to the bottom, DJ Kennington gonna get underneath the 9.
There you go, take advantage of that. Still there, clear.
And you see Dilley himself working lap traffic, so he did have to take the outside, the extreme outside, try and find some traction there to stay off the wall here at Delaware Speedway, but he does go a lap down to the top 2 cars. And now Mark Dilley in the VTEC free pass position, so if a caution does come out, he will get that lap back.
Things are getting pretty busy. Oh, the 97 spins around.
And just as I said, the 97 of Hugo Vanini goes for a loop. And that will put the number 9 of Mark Dilley back on the lead lap. So the 97 of Hugo Vanini making his second start in 2011, but it is pit stop time. There is your leader, DJ Kennington, down 3rd place, running the 7 of Pete Shepard, and Todd's in Kennington's pit. Todd?
DJ Kennington relinquishes the lead for a scheduled stop. They'll make a handling adjustment to the left rear, fill him full of fuel. He'll return later in the race for tires. We'll return to Delaware Speedway in just a moment.
It's magic hour here at Delaware Speedway as we get set for the first restart of the night here at the Keystone Light 200. Working lap 70 is that 2011 Dodge Charger RT pace car ducks to the pits. Scott Steckley, your new leader, with Stephen Matthews to the outside, and we're back green.
Up through the gears, down to turn 1 more time. DJ Kennington sit there on the outside. A little bit of push off the corner. It'll be the 22 of Scott Steckley.
And as we mentioned before the break, the number 9 Leland Dodge of Mark Dilley did get the VTEC free pass. He's currently running at 13th spot as Stephen Matthews tries to hang on to that outside groove. Jason Hathaway working on him.
Wow, even making a pit stop, DJ Kennington comes back out and he's still sitting in the 4th spot.
Now, Billy, making that pit stop 70 laps into the race, what are some of those drivers calling for as far as changes go?
Well, as the fuel comes out of the car, the wedge changes, the rear weight changes. So most of the guys took just fuel. So that'll stabilize the car on corner entry. So then next time around, they'll put right side tires on it and hopefully save them for later on in the race. Whoa, the 89 with a lot of damage on the left side.
Yeah, the Celtic Ford, number 89 of Donald Chisholm. He has significant body damage to the driver's side of that Ford Fusion. We'll have another look at it.
Down into turn 1, the 55 drives down the bottom. The 89 closed the door. The 55 drives right over the left door and fender.
Wow, the Donald Chisholm car actually could read Goodyear out his side window, so a scary sight there, but no caution as we stay under green here in the Keystone Light 200.
Yeah, it's Gil.
Wow, that's the spotter and driver having a conversation. They can see gear oil on the racetrack, but we're still under green.
Yeah, we can't see a car that's smoking, so we're not sure who that might be coming from, but you can see some of the cars getting a little bit crossways, a little bit loose up off the corner, so it might be affecting them. Let's now go down pit side. Todd standing by with Donald Chisholm.
Boy, Donald, been a tough night for you. You had that fuel can stick. What happened out on the track?
I really have no idea. I think the 55 might have overdrove the corner by about 10 lengths or something and drove up over top of me, and here we are. Pretty early in the race to be running like that, I thought, but anyway, that's it for tonight, I guess.
Thanks.
And actually, he was back in the field because of that gas can incident. He left the pit, a gas can hanging out, so he had to go back in and make a pit stop again, remove that can, so that's what put him back in the melee.
Well, cautions breed cautions for sure. You always got to be careful when you get back in the traffic.
And there is a dice for 7th spot. Pete Shepard Jr. in the 7 car is going backwards in the National Exhaust Dodge. So stuck up on the outside, he seems to be losing a lot of positions.
Well, the balance on the car just not quite what Pete Shepard Jr. would like right now. They put the fuel in the car with no tires, and he's sliding a little bit. There's the 8 of Don Thompson Jr. making his way through in the bottom as well.
Boy, it's really not working well at all. He continues to lose positions. The Tim Hortons Dodge, the 23 of Jeff Lapsevich, I should say, as we ride on board with the 21 machine of Jason White. But there seems to be an issue with that 7 car. Todd's in his pit box. Todd, what can you tell us?
Guys, this is the pit stall for the number 7 car of Pete Shepard. We're looking at a big mark of gear oil on the back. When he made his pit stop, he left that on the track here in his pit stall. The team is worried about it. They've got some gear oil ready if they do have to make a stop. Right now, Pete Shepard's still out on course at speed, but the team with worried looks on their faces.
Well, I'm just guessing, but I'll tell you, the reason that 7 car is slowing down is because the gear is binding up. When you don't have oil in there, that thing makes a lot of heat even with oil in it. You start to lose oil, the temperature goes up, and it takes a ton of horsepower to turn a gear that's not got enough oil in it.
And that would be the culprit, of course, the driver's mentioning earlier.
Still there. Clear behind Beauchamp if you want it.
They saw that gear oil on the racetrack. It's obviously coming from the 7 car, so no doubt NASCAR now taking a look at that National Exhaust number 7 and making sure he's not dropping too much fluid on the raceway.
Ronnie Beauchamp Jr. just made a textbook pass. Here at Delaware, if you can get the car turned in the middle of 1 and 2 and come off on the bottom of the Delaware Hill, you can beat the guy bad down the backstretch. And he did a contact between Conley and the 8.
Don Thompson Jr. trying to put a lap around the 82 of Dave Connolly, and they got together, both kept it straight, but no doubt Don Thompson Jr. is going to be a little incensed at that.
22 of Stackley really working well here tonight. He comes off the 4th corner. We're halfway, folks.
And that brings us to the Tim Hortons halfway update. 3 leaders, 2 lead changes, and just 1 caution period for a total of 11 laps here this afternoon.
While we're on board with Pete Shepard, you can hear that gear eating itself up.
And Shepard thanking his crew for a good race car here today. Of course, qualifying on the pole. This is not the way he wanted to see his day end, but the 7 is going back behind the wall. A rear end gear, and we've got problems. Hugo Vanini and the 17 of DJ Kennington. So Kennington gets involved in another melee. Hugo Vanini just a slide, no real damage to that Ford Fusion, but you saw the rear bumper cover hanging off the Castrol Edge Dodge. So caution flag flies for the 2nd time here at Delaware Speedway. Let's have another look at this.
Down into turn 1, Matthews going around. Oh, Vanini just locks up the back, slides around. Kennington had to anchor it down, trying not to hit him, and gets sideways and tears the bumper cover off.
And it did look to miss all the wheels of the 17 Dodge, but some pit stops now for the 15 of Stephen Matthews, and the 22 of Scott Steckley is in. That's the Castrol crew cam, Danny DeShepard for the Steckley team. Take a look at him hitting all his lug nuts.
5 on and 5 off. That's how it's done here in NASCAR land. DJ Kennington crew going to work putting some tape on that rear bumper cover. I'm not sure they'll change the tires this time around, but you look to that car to come back to pit road and be strong.
But we do have a new leader here in the Keystone Light 200. The 84 of J.R. Fitzpatrick is at the front. Welcome back to the NASCAR Canadian Tire Series here on TSN, working restart number 2 here at the Keystone Light 200 at Delaware Speedway on lap 111. J.R. Fitzpatrick, your leader, and the 19 of Brad Graham on the outside.
The sound of speed one more time up through the gearbox. Everybody racing for the bottom of the racetrack, trying to get down there, down the backstretch. Oh, Matthews gets big loose, the spot.
Matthews has a moment. He gathers it back up. He doesn't quite give Graham the spot. He wants it back as he tucks his nose in there, but then gets into line. 88 laps to go. Things are starting to heat up in the front.
Well, business is picking up. Some guys got tires that last stop. These guys didn't stop, and they're going at it. The 19 homer, we talked about this. Brad Graham has a lot of laps here in the old Cass Car division.
But look at how quickly after the restart we get into single file. Drivers not willing to hang up on the outside now. They know how little traction there is out there.
Well, we talked about the traction earlier. Then you throw in the grease out of the number 7 race car, and things are slicking up.
Well, speaking of that 7 race car, Pete Shepard is out of this one, and Todd's standing by with him. Todd?
That's right, guys. A disappointing end to the night for our pole sitter, Pete Shepard. Boy, tough one. What's put you out?
Just a seal in the rear end went. Nothing anyone could do. The crew worked so hard, and it's not an error there as these things happen in racing. This National Exhaust Dodge was fast all night, top 3 car. Got to thank High Tech, Rick Diamond from Diamond Material Handling, just everybody who's helped us out. You know, our spotter, Don Reinhardt, we got him back today. He did a great job. He was ill, so, you know, I really hate it for the guys, for the crew, Don, just everybody. Just want to thank them, and we'll be back.
Pete Shepard will be back, guys. There's a lot of cars here in the infield at Delaware. It's a pretty common sight at this racetrack. Delaware very hard on equipment, and we're seeing some of the results in the infield.
That's Dougie Brown in the 56. He's out of the race as well. That's pretty disappointing on his re-entry into NASCAR racing.
Yeah, you could almost call the infield here at Delaware Speedway the boulevard of broken dreams some night. Looks like that way this night as the 84 of J.R. Fitzpatrick continues to lead the field in the Schick Hydro Chevy, but a great run being put in by Brad Graham in the Hobart Dodge. He had an awesome run at Mosport Speedway, and he's having another great run here tonight.
Also give a shout out to the 15 of Stephen Matthews. Rookie this year, run a couple races last year out of New Liskeard, Ontario. His dad owns a Ford dealership.
And Steve Mifsud, the crew chief on that team, Alex Nagy, is going to take over at Toronto. So interesting changes going on in the 15 team behind the scenes.
Wow, listen to that horsepower down the backstretch. There's the 3 of Jason Hathaway starting to show his muscle.
Yeah, the Rockstar Dodge is really having another good run. And we've talked about some drivers who are having solid runs here today, quietly solid, and the 3 car is one of them. He's been inside the top 10 all afternoon, all night long, and he's continuing that strong run here in the 3.
On board with Ron Beauchamp Jr. Ronnie's not having the year that he'd like to have, but that Mopar Dodge is always strong here at Delaware Speedway.
And you got to give a call to the 02 Dickies Ford of Kerry Meggs. He's in the mix as well, pardon the pun, but look at the gap that J.R. Fitzpatrick is opening up over this gaggle of race cars.
Well, he's out there in clean air, even though it's a half-mile racetrack. You still, when you're out in the lead, you don't have to fight with anybody, and you don't have to keep looking in the mirror.
That's the 55 of Dexter Stacy as we ride on board the 21 of Jason White. Stacy, after getting into Chisholm, doesn't appear to have suffered any ill effects on the 55 Dodge as he continues to work just outside of the top 10.
I don't know, you take a look on that yellow paint job, if we ever get another look at the back of that race car. Seems to be some oil misting up on the back end of the wing of that race car.
Yeah, I thought I saw something right sort of in the center of the bumper cover of that race car, so I'll have to keep an eye on it.
There's the 5 being driven tonight by Kenny Forth. That car out of the DJ Kennington shops.
So with J.R. Fitzpatrick in full control here of the Keystone Light 200, everybody's got a little catching up to do.